The morning sun cast long shadows across the pristine grounds of Kensington Palace as Prince William stood at the tall windows of his private study. His usually composed demeanor showed cracks of vulnerability that few people ever witnessed. Kate sat in the leather chair behind him, her hands trembling slightly as she held a letter that had arrived just hours earlier. The royal couple, known for their poise and strength in public, found themselves facing a challenge that would test every fiber of their being. The letter bore the official seal of St. Bartholomew's Hospital, and its contents had shattered the carefully constructed routine of their lives. Kate read the words again, hoping somehow they might change, but the medical terminology remained as stark and unforgiving as when she first opened the envelope. William turned from the window, his eyes red-rimmed with exhaustion and worry. "We have to tell the children," Kate whispered, her voice barely audible in the spacious room. The weight of those words hung between them like a heavy curtain, separating their old life from the uncertain future that lay ahead. William moved to sit beside his wife, taking her hand in his. The simple gesture spoke volumes about their bond, a connection that had weathered many storms but never quite like this one. For months, Kate had been experiencing symptoms that she initially dismissed as stress from her royal duties. The constant travel, charity work, and public appearances had always demanded physical and emotional stamina, but lately, something felt different. The fatigue was deeper, more persistent. When simple tasks became challenging and her energy seemed to drain away without explanation, William had insisted she see the royal physicians. The medical team at St. Bartholomew's had conducted extensive tests over several weeks. Each appointment brought more questions, more procedures, and growing concern from the medical staff. Dr. Margaret Thompson, the lead physician, had become a familiar face during this difficult period. Her professional demeanor couldn't quite hide the gravity of what they were investigating. Kate remembered the day of her final consultation vividly. She had sat in the sterile examination room while Dr. Thompson reviewed charts and test results. The silence stretched endlessly until the doctor finally spoke. The diagnosis was not what anyone had hoped for, but it explained the symptoms that had been plaguing Kate for months. "Your Royal Highness," Dr. Thompson had said carefully, "the test results indicate a condition that will require immediate and comprehensive treatment. We've consulted with specialists across London and internationally. There are options, good options, but we need to begin treatment as soon as possible." The medical terminology swirled around Kate like a fog. Words like aggressive treatment protocol and extended recovery period seemed foreign and frightening. William, who had insisted on being present for every appointment, asked the practical questions that Kate couldn't formulate through her shock and fear. Now, sitting in their private study, they faced the reality of what lay ahead. The treatment would require Kate to step back from her royal duties indefinitely. The children would need explanations appropriate for their ages. The public would eventually need to be informed, though they hoped to maintain as much privacy as possible during the treatment period. "George will have so many questions," Kate said, thinking of their eldest son's curious nature and sharp intelligence. At his age, he was already aware of his family's public role and the attention that came with it. Explaining why his mother would be away for extended periods would require careful consideration. Charlotte and Louis, their younger children, would need different approaches. Charlotte, with her strong-willed personality, might react with defiance or confusion. Louis, still so young, might not fully understand but would certainly feel the absence of normal family routines. William stood and walked to his desk, where family photographs lined the mahogany surface. Pictures from holidays, official portraits, and candid moments captured happier times. His eyes lingered on a recent photo from their summer vacation at Balmoral, where all 5 family members smiled genuinely at the camera. Those carefree moments felt like they belonged to a different lifetime. "We'll face this together," William said, returning to sit beside Kate. "Whatever it takes, however long it takes." The children are strong, and they have us. They have each other. Kate nodded, though tears threatened to spill over. She thought about the charity work that had become such a meaningful part of her life. The mental health initiatives, the early childhood development programs, the countless people she had met who had shared their own struggles and triumphs. How could she continue that work when she was facing her own battle? The charities, she began, but William shook his head. They'll understand. Everyone will understand. Right now, the only thing that matters is getting you well. The afternoon brought a meeting with their private secretary and key members of their staff. These trusted individuals had been with the royal family for years, navigating both public ceremonies and private challenges with discretion and professionalism. Explaining the situation to them felt like the first step in accepting their new reality. Sir James Morrison, their private secretary, listened intently as William and Kate outlined the medical situation and their planned approach. His experience had taught him to anticipate various scenarios, but this presented unique challenges for managing both their official duties and their privacy. We'll need to adjust the schedule gradually, Sir James suggested. Cancel upcoming engagements without raising immediate suspicion. Then, develop a longer-term plan for redistributing your commitments, Your Royal Highness. Kate appreciated his practical approach, but each canceled engagement felt like another piece of her normal life slipping away. The opening of a new children's hospital next month, the gala for her patronage organization, the state visit that had been planned for months. All of these meaningful commitments would need to be handled by others. The conversation turned to the question of public disclosure. While the royal family valued privacy, especially regarding health matters, they also understood their responsibility to be honest with the public that supported them. The timing and method of any announcement would require careful consideration. We'd like to begin treatment before making any public statements, William explained. Once we better understand the timeline and what to expect, we can craft an appropriate message. Evening approached, and the time came to speak with the children. Kate had spent the afternoon thinking about how to explain the situation in terms they could understand without causing unnecessary fear. She and William had agreed to be honest, but age-appropriate, emphasizing the excellent medical care available and their confidence in a positive outcome. They gathered in the family sitting room, a comfortable space where the children often did homework or played games in the evenings. George, Charlotte, and Louis sensed the serious nature of the gathering, their usual playful energy subdued by their parents' solemn expressions. "We need to share something important with you," Kate began, her voice steady despite the emotion she felt. "Mummy hasn't been feeling well lately, and the doctors have found out why. I'm going to need special medicine and treatment to get better." George, now old enough to understand more complex situations, asked immediate questions about the treatment and how long it would take. His maturity sometimes surprised Kate, but she could see the worry behind his brave facade. Charlotte, true to her nature, declared that she would help take care of her mother and make sure she followed all the doctor's instructions. Her determination brought the first genuine smile Kate had felt all day. Louis, still processing the information, simply climbed onto Kate's lap and hugged her tightly. Sometimes the simplest gestures carried the most powerful messages. William watched his family with a mixture of pride and protectiveness. These three children had brought such joy to their lives, and now they would all navigate this challenge together. He thought about his own childhood experiences with family difficulties and was determined to handle this situation with more openness and support. The evening concluded with extra bedtime stories and longer tucking-in rituals. Each child received individual attention and reassurance that their family remained strong and united. Kate and William wanted them to feel secure even as their world was about to change significantly. Later that night, Kate and William sat together in their bedroom, finally allowing themselves to process the full weight of their situation. The brave faces they had worn all day could finally relax, revealing the fear and uncertainty they both felt. "I keep thinking about everything we had planned," Kate said quietly. "The children's school events, our summer trip, the anniversary celebration we were organizing." William understood her grief for the life they had expected to continue living. The diagnosis hadn't just changed Kate's health outlook. It had altered their entire family's trajectory for the foreseeable future. "Those things can wait," he replied. "Or we'll find new ways to celebrate and make memories. What matters is that we're facing this with the best medical care available and surrounded by people who love us." Kate nodded, though the future still felt frightening and uncertain. Tomorrow would bring the first treatment appointment, the beginning of a journey she never could have imagined taking. But tonight, lying beside her husband and knowing her children were safe in their beds, she found a small measure of peace. The clock chimed midnight, marking the end of the day that had changed everything. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, difficult decisions, and the beginning of a fight that would test every aspect of their strength and unity. But tonight they had each other, and somehow that felt like enough to begin facing whatever lay ahead. As Kate finally drifted towards sleep, she thought about the door that would open tomorrow at the hospital. Behind that door lay treatments, hope, and the beginning of her journey back to health. She didn't know what awaited her there, but she knew she wouldn't face it alone. The morning of Kate's first treatment arrived with an unseasonably gray sky over London. She woke before her alarm, her mind immediately returning to the day ahead. Beside her, William was already awake, staring at the ceiling with the same restless energy that had kept them both from sleeping deeply. They moved through their morning routine with unusual quietness, each lost in their own thoughts. Kate chose comfortable clothing and tied her hair back simply, practical choices that reflected the gravity of the day. William dressed in casual clothes rather than his usual formal attire, a small but significant departure from protocol that demonstrated his priorities. The children had been told that Mummy had an important doctor's appointment, and they gathered for breakfast with a mix of curiosity and concern. Charlotte insisted on making Kate's toast herself, carefully spreading jam in the shape of a heart. George offered to help carry anything she might need, while Louis simply stayed close to her side throughout the meal. "Will you be home for dinner?" George asked, his question carrying more weight than usual family logistics. "I'm not sure exactly when I'll be back," Kate answered honestly. "The treatment takes several hours, and then I might need to rest. But I'll see you before bedtime, I promise." The drive to St. Bartholomew's Hospital took place in their private car rather than an official vehicle. William drove, personally, wanted to maintain as much normalcy and privacy as possible. Kate watched familiar London landmarks pass by the window, wondering how many times she might make this journey over the coming months. Dr. Thompson met them at a private entrance, her professional warmth providing immediate reassurance. She led them through corridors that felt both sterile and hopeful, past other patients and families facing their own health challenges. Kate observed their expressions. Some showed fear, others determination. Many displayed the quiet courage that comes from accepting a difficult fight. The treatment room was smaller than Kate had expected, furnished with comfortable chairs and designed to feel as welcoming as possible given its clinical purpose. Large windows provided natural light, and soft music played quietly in the background. Dr. Thompson explained each step of the process clearly, ensuring both Kate and William understood what would happen. "The first session is often the most anxiety-provoking," Dr. Thompson said gently. "We'll monitor you closely, and you can ask questions or request breaks at any time. Many patients find it helpful to bring books, music, or other distractions." Kate had brought a novel she'd been meaning to read for months, though she doubted her ability to concentrate. William carried his laptop, planning to work on correspondence while staying nearby. They had also brought photographs of the children, small reminders of what they were fighting for. As the treatment began, Kate felt a mixture of hope and apprehension. The medical team moved efficiently around her, checking monitors and adjusting equipment with practiced professionalism. She closed her eyes and tried to focus on positive thoughts, family vacations, the children's laughter, moments of joy that felt both recent and distant. William sat beside her, alternating between reading official documents and simply holding her hand. His presence provided comfort that no medical intervention could match. They talked quietly about everyday things, school events for the children, plans for the garden at Kensington Palace, books they wanted to read together. Halfway through the session, Kate began feeling the effects of the treatment. Fatigue crept in gradually, along with a general sense of being disconnected from her usual energy and vitality. Dr. Thompson had prepared them for these sensations, but experiencing them firsthand felt different from intellectual understanding. "This is normal," the attending nurse assured her, checking various measurements. "Your body is adjusting to the medication." Many patients describe feeling like they're watching themselves from a distance. Kate nodded, though speaking required more effort than usual. William noticed her growing tiredness and moved his chair closer, continuing to maintain the physical connection that had become their anchor throughout this process. As the hours passed, other family members arrived at the hospital. William's father had insisted on coming, despite their efforts to minimize family worry. His presence in the waiting area provided additional support, though Kate felt guilty about the concern she was causing everyone who loved her. The treatment concluded in the late afternoon, leaving Kate feeling drained but oddly hopeful. Dr. Thompson reviewed how the session had proceeded and outlined expectations for the next few days. The side effects would likely intensify before improving, and Kate would need substantial rest and careful monitoring. "Each treatment builds on the previous one," Dr. Thompson explained. "We'll adjust the protocol based on how you respond, but overall, I'm pleased with how today went." The drive home felt longer than the morning journey. Kate dozed against the window while William navigated London traffic with particular care. She woke briefly as they passed familiar neighborhoods, feeling simultaneously grateful to be returning home and uncertain about what the evening would bring. At Kensington Palace, the children waited anxiously for their parents' return. They had spent the day with their nanny and tutor, maintaining normal routines while clearly thinking about their mother's absence. When the car pulled into the private entrance, 3 faces appeared at the windows. Kate managed to walk steadily into the house, though William stayed close beside her. The children gathered around carefully, having been instructed to be gentle but clearly eager for reassurance about their mother's condition. "How do you feel, Mummy?" Charlotte asked directly, her young face serious with concern. "Tired," Kate answered honestly but hopeful. "The doctors are very smart, and they're helping my body fight off what's been making me sick." George studied his mother's face intently, his analytical nature seeking evidence of improvement or decline. Louis simply reached up to hug her legs, offering comfort in the way only young children can. They gathered in the family sitting room, where Kate settled into her favorite chair while the children shared stories from their day. Normal family life continued around her treatment experience, providing both continuity and perspective on what truly mattered. William ordered dinner from their favorite local restaurant rather than having the kitchen staff prepare a formal meal. The casual approach felt appropriate for a day that had been anything but ordinary. They ate together in the informal dining room, with Kate managing small portions despite her reduced appetite. As bedtime approached, each child received extra attention during their evening routine. Kate participated as much as her energy allowed, reading shortened stories and offering gentle goodnight kisses. The simple acts of parenting provided normalcy that felt precious and grounding. "Will you have more treatments?" George asked as Kate tucked him in. "Yes, several more over the next few months. But each one helps me get stronger and healthier. And you're helping too by being brave and taking care of each other." After the children were settled, Kate and William finally had time to process the day privately. Kate felt emotionally drained beyond her physical exhaustion, the weight of beginning this journey settling over her like a heavy blanket. "I kept thinking about all the other patients we saw today," she said quietly. "Everyone fighting their own battles, with families supporting them. It made me feel less alone, but also more aware of how many people face these challenges." William nodded, understanding her tendency to think about others even while dealing with her own difficulties. "Your compassion is one of the things I love most about you. Even now, you're thinking about how to help others who might be going through similar experiences." They discussed the logistics of upcoming treatments and how to manage family life around the medical schedule. William had already begun rearranging his official duties to be available for appointments and recovery periods. The flexibility of royal scheduling would work in their favor, allowing him to prioritize family needs. Kate's energy faded quickly as the evening progressed, the day's treatment taking its full toll. William helped her prepare for bed, both of them moving through the routine with extra gentleness and care. Simple acts like brushing teeth and changing clothes required more effort than usual. "Tomorrow will be easier," William said as they settled into bed. Dr. Thompson said the first day is often the hardest psychologically. Kate hoped he was right. The treatment itself had been manageable, but the emotional weight of beginning this journey felt enormous. She thought about the weeks and months ahead, the uncertainty of how she would respond to treatment, and the impact on her family's life. Sleep came fitfully, interrupted by dreams that mixed medical settings with family scenes. Kate woke several times during the night, each time feeling William's steady presence beside her. His quiet strength had become essential to her sense of security and hope. The following morning brought new challenges as Kate experienced her first significant side effects from the treatment. Nausea arrived early, along with a general feeling of being unwell that was different from simple tiredness. William immediately called Dr. Thompson's office, receiving reassurance that Kate's symptoms were within normal parameters. The children noticed their mother's reduced energy and appetite at breakfast, their young faces reflecting concern and confusion. Kate made an effort to appear as normal as possible, but the physical effects of treatment were becoming harder to disguise. Sometimes the medicine that helps people get better makes them feel worse temporarily, William explained to the children. "It's like when you have to clean a wound before it can heal properly." Throughout the morning, Kate rested while William managed both official correspondence and household logistics. He found himself making decisions about family schedules and commitments that Kate usually handled, gaining new appreciation for the countless details she managed daily. Friends and family members began reaching out as word of Kate's health situation spread carefully through their inner circle. Each phone call and message brought support, but also reminded them how many people were affected by their circumstances. The responsibility of being public figures added complexity to their private health journey. Dr. Thompson called in the afternoon to check on Kate's condition and provide guidance for managing the side effects. Her professional expertise, combined with genuine caring, helped Kate feel more confident about the treatment process. "Many patients feel discouraged after the first treatment," Dr. Thompson said. "The reality of what lies ahead can feel overwhelming. But remember, each session brings you closer to recovery." As the day progressed, Kate began feeling slightly better, though still far from her usual energy level. She managed to spend time with the children in the evening, reading to them quietly and listening to their questions about school and friends. The second night brought better sleep, with Kate's body beginning to adjust to the treatment medications. William maintained his vigilant care, checking on her throughout the night while trying to get rest himself. By the third day, Kate felt well enough to take a short walk in their private garden. The fresh air and gentle movement helped clear her mind and restore some sense of normalcy. She thought about the long journey ahead while appreciating the simple pleasure of sunshine and fresh air. The door to the treatment room would open again soon, beginning another session in her fight for health. Each appointment brought a mixture of hope and apprehension, but also growing confidence in her medical team and her own inner strength. 3 weeks had passed since Kate's first treatment, and the routine of hospital visits had become a strange new normal for the royal family. Each session brought its own challenges and small victories, creating a rhythm that was both exhausting and oddly reassuring. Kate had learned to anticipate the cycle of treatment days followed by recovery periods, planning family activities around her energy levels and medical schedule. The children had adapted with the remarkable resilience that young people often display in difficult circumstances. George had taken on additional responsibilities around the house, helping his younger siblings and showing maturity beyond his years. Charlotte had become fiercely protective of her mother, often bringing small gifts or drawings to brighten Kate's recovery days. Louis, in his innocent way, provided the most natural comfort simply by continuing to be his playful, affectionate self. William had reorganized his entire professional life around Kate's treatment schedule. Royal duties that couldn't be postponed were compressed into the days when Kate felt strongest, while he remained completely available during her treatment sessions and immediate recovery periods. His private secretary had become expert at managing the delicate balance between public responsibilities and personal priorities. The medical team at St. Bartholomew's had become like extended family members, their familiar faces providing comfort during each visit. Dr. Thompson continued to lead Kate's care with a combination of clinical expertise and genuine warmth that made the difficult journey more bearable. The nursing staff had learned Kate's preferences for music, reading material, and comfort measures that helped pass the long treatment hours. "Your response to treatment has been very encouraging," Dr. Thompson said during a consultation between Kate's 4th and 5th sessions. "The indicators we're tracking are moving in the right direction, though we still have several months of treatment ahead." Kate felt a surge of hope mixed with determination. The physical challenges of treatment had been significant, but knowing that her body was responding positively gave her strength to continue. Each small improvement felt like a victory worth celebrating. The decision about public disclosure had weighed heavily on both Kate and William throughout the treatment process. They valued their privacy intensely, but they also understood their responsibility to the public and to other families facing similar challenges. After much consideration and consultation with their communications team, they decided it was time to share their story. The announcement was crafted carefully, balancing honesty about Kate's health situation with appropriate privacy boundaries. They wanted to acknowledge the support they had received while also highlighting the excellent care available through the National Health Service and the importance of early detection and treatment. "We have decided to share this personal information because we believe it may help other families facing similar challenges," the statement read in part. "We are grateful for the outstanding medical care Kate has received and remain optimistic about her complete recovery." The public response was immediate and overwhelming. Messages of support poured in from around the world, from heads of state to ordinary families who had faced cancer in their own lives. The outpouring of love and encouragement surprised Kate with its intensity and genuine warmth. Many messages came from people sharing their own experiences with cancer treatment, offering practical advice and emotional support. Kate found these personal accounts especially meaningful, as they provided perspective from others who truly understood the journey she was navigating. "I never realized how many people carry these experiences," Kate said to William one evening as they read through some of the messages. "There's an entire community of survivors and families who understand exactly what this feels like." The public nature of their situation also brought some unexpected benefits. The medical team received additional resources and attention, though Dr. Thompson assured them that Kate's care had always been their top priority regardless of her public profile. More importantly, the announcement seemed to inspire other people to seek medical attention for symptoms they had been ignoring. Several cancer charities reported increases in donations and volunteer applications following the announcement. Kate felt moved by the idea that her difficult journey might lead to positive outcomes for other patients and their families. The children handled the public attention with remarkable poise, guided by their parents' emphasis on maintaining normal routines and focusing on what truly mattered. They continued attending school regularly, participating in activities, and spending time with friends. The palace staff worked diligently to protect their privacy while allowing them to process their mother's illness naturally. Some of my classmates asked about Mummy, Charlotte reported one evening. I told them she's taking medicine to get better, and she's very brave. Kate's treatment schedule intensified during this period, with appointments becoming more frequent and the recovery periods requiring more careful management. William arranged for extended family members to visit during Kate's strongest days, providing both support and distraction for everyone. Kate's mother, Carol Middleton, became a regular presence at Kensington Palace, helping with childcare and household management while offering the unique comfort that only a mother can provide. Her practical assistance and emotional support proved invaluable during Kate's most difficult treatment days. William's father also increased his involvement, spending time with the children and providing quiet encouragement to both William and Kate. His own experiences with family health challenges gave him particular insight into the emotional complexity they were navigating. The spring weather provided opportunities for outdoor activities that boosted Kate's spirits and energy. Garden walks became a daily ritual when her health permitted, and the children helped plant a special flower bed that would bloom throughout her treatment period. These simple family activities provided normalcy and hope during an otherwise challenging time. Kate's relationship with her medical team deepened as treatment progressed. She learned to advocate for herself more effectively, asking detailed questions about procedures and side effects. Dr. Thompson encouraged this active participation, explaining that engaged patients often responded better to treatment. "You've become quite expert at managing your own care," Dr. Thompson observed. That kind of partnership between patient and medical team often leads to better outcomes. The treatment sessions themselves had evolved from frightening ordeals into manageable routines. Kate had learned techniques for staying comfortable and mentally engaged during the long hours of infusion. William had become equally skilled at providing support and distraction while managing his own anxiety about the process. They had developed a system of small celebrations for each completed treatment, marking progress with favorite meals, family movie nights, or special outings when Kate felt well enough. These rituals helped frame the medical appointments as steps toward recovery rather than simply enduring difficult procedures. Halfway there, Dr. Thompson announced as Kate completed her 6th treatment session. The milestone felt significant, marking the midpoint of her planned treatment protocol. Kate and William exchanged glances that communicated shared relief and growing optimism. The children had made a countdown calendar, marking off each treatment day with stickers and drawings. Their visual representation of progress provided motivation and hope for the entire family. Lewis had insisted on putting gold stars on the days when Mummy felt well enough to play outside. Kate's energy levels began showing more consistency as her body adapted to the treatment routine. She could plan activities with greater confidence, knowing how she would likely feel on particular days. This predictability allowed for better family planning and reduced some of the uncertainty that had characterized the early treatment period. The medical monitoring between treatments showed continued positive response, with key indicators moving steadily in the right direction. Dr. Thompson's cautious optimism grew stronger as Kate's body demonstrated its ability to fight the disease while managing the treatment protocol. "Your strength and attitude have been remarkable," Dr. Thompson said during a routine consultation. "Many patients struggle more significantly with the emotional challenges of treatment, but your support system and positive outlook are clearly making a difference." Kate felt proud of how her family had navigated this challenge together. The children had grown closer to each other and more appreciative of ordinary family moments. William had demonstrated strength and devotion that deepened their partnership in ways she couldn't have imagined. As they prepared for the second half of Kate's treatment protocol, the family felt a growing sense of confidence and unity. The most frightening aspects of the journey were behind them, and they could see a path forward toward recovery and return to normal life. The door to the treatment room no longer felt like an entrance to the unknown. Instead, it had become a gateway to healing, supported by medical expertise, family love, and a community of people who cared about their well-being. Each time it opened, it revealed another step closer to the healthy future they were working to achieve. Summer was approaching, and with it, the possibility of completing treatment and beginning the next chapter of their lives. The challenges weren't over, but they felt equipped to face whatever lay ahead with the strength they had discovered during the most difficult months of their marriage and family life. The morning of Kate's final treatment arrived with brilliant sunshine streaming through the windows of Kensington Palace. After months of medical appointments, careful scheduling, and emotional ups and downs, this day represented the culmination of their family's most challenging journey. Kate woke feeling a mixture of relief, anticipation, and cautious hope that had become familiar during her treatment period. William was already awake beside her, having slept fitfully in anticipation of this significant milestone. They had been counting down to this day for weeks, but now that it had arrived, both felt the weight of what it represented. The end of active treatment would mark a new beginning, though they understood that recovery and monitoring would continue for months to come. The children sensed the importance of the day without fully understanding all its implications. Over breakfast, they chattered excitedly about their plans for celebrating Mummy's last treatment, having been involved in planning a special family dinner for that evening. Charlotte had insisted on making decorations, while George had researched Kate's favorite dessert recipe, determined to help create something special. After today, will you be completely better? Louis asked, his 5-year-old mind seeking the simple clarity that adults often couldn't provide. The treatments will be finished, Kate explained carefully, and then we'll wait to see how well they worked. The doctors are very hopeful, and I feel stronger every week. The drive to St. Bartholomew's Hospital felt different from all the previous journeys. William and Kate traveled the familiar route with a sense of completion rather than the apprehension that had characterized earlier trips. The medical team had become trusted allies in their fight for Kate's health, and this final session represented the success of their collaborative effort. Dr. Thompson greeted them with her characteristic warmth enhanced by genuine satisfaction about Kate's progress throughout treatment. The months of careful monitoring and adjustment had paid off, with Kate responding better than initially projected to the aggressive treatment protocol. "This is a day we've all been looking forward to," Dr. Thompson said as they settled into the familiar treatment room. "Your strength and determination have been remarkable throughout this process." The final treatment session proceeded with the same careful attention to detail that had characterized all the previous appointments, but the atmosphere felt celebratory rather than clinical. The nursing staff, who had become like family over the months of regular contact, shared in the milestone moment. Kate reflected on how much had changed since her first frightening appointment in this same room. The medical terminology that had once seemed foreign and frightening now felt familiar. The procedures that had initially caused anxiety had become routine. Most importantly, her confidence in her body's ability to heal had grown stronger with each successful treatment. William sat beside her, as he had for every session, his presence providing the same steady support that had sustained her through the most difficult periods. They talked quietly about plans for the summer, family vacations they wanted to take, and activities Kate was eager to resume once her energy fully returned. "I keep thinking about the garden," Kate said, watching the 4 drip that would be her last. "I want to plant those roses we discussed in the spring and help the children with their vegetable plots." Simple domestic activities had taken on special meaning during Kate's treatment period. The prospect of returning to normal routines felt precious rather than mundane. She looked forward to school events, charity work, and the countless small activities that comprise their family life. As the treatment neared completion, other family members began arriving at the hospital. Kate's parents, William's father, and several close friends had requested permission to be present for this significant moment. Their gathering transformed the medical setting into something more like a family celebration. The children arrived in the early afternoon, having been brought by their nanny once school finished. Their excitement about Mummy's last treatment was infectious, bringing smiles to the medical staff and other patients who witnessed their joy. "We made cards for all the nurses," Charlotte announced, producing carefully crafted thank you notes for each member of Kate's medical team. The gesture touched everyone present and reflected the values Kate and William had worked to instill in their children throughout this challenging period. Dr. Thompson spent extra time with the family during this final session, explaining the monitoring schedule that would follow treatment and answering questions about Kate's recovery timeline. The children listened intently, their young minds processing information about follow-up appointments and gradual return to normal activities. "Mummy will need to be careful for a while longer," Dr. Thompson explained to the children, "but each month should bring more energy and fewer restrictions." As the final 4 drip concluded and the treatment equipment was removed, Kate felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude mixed with relief. The journey that had begun with fear and uncertainty was ending with hope and appreciation for the medical expertise, family support, and inner strength that had carried her through. The medical team gathered for photographs with Kate and her family, marking the completion of treatment with documentation of this important milestone. These pictures would join the family album alongside vacation photos and birthday celebrations, representing a different kind of achievement, but equally worthy of remembrance. William presented Dr. Thompson and the nursing staff with special gifts as tokens of the family's appreciation. Beyond the formal expressions of gratitude, genuine friendships had developed during the months of regular contact. The medical team had cared for Kate not just as a patient, but as a person, understanding the unique challenges of maintaining privacy while receiving treatment. The drive home from the hospital felt triumphant. Kate sat in the passenger seat, watching familiar London scenery pass by, knowing this might be her last medical appointment for treatment rather than monitoring. The children chattered excitedly in the back seat about their evening celebration plans. At Kensington Palace, the staff had prepared a special welcome home arrangement in the main hallway. Fresh flowers, Kate's favorite music playing softly, and the warm smiles of people who had supported the family throughout their difficult months created an atmosphere of genuine celebration. The evening dinner became a family festival of gratitude and hope. The children presented their mother with handmade gifts expressing their love and relief. William offered a toast that brought tears to everyone's eyes, acknowledging Kate's courage and their family's strength in facing adversity together. "You've taught us all what real bravery looks like," William said, raising his glass. "Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to keep moving forward despite being afraid." Kate felt overwhelmed by the love surrounding her, but also deeply proud of how her family had navigated this challenge. The children had grown in maturity and compassion. William had demonstrated devotion and strength that deepened their partnership. Most importantly, they had all learned to appreciate the ordinary moments that comprised their happiest times together. As bedtime approached, each child received special attention during their evening routine. Kate participated fully in stories and tucking in rituals, savoring these simple parenting activities that had sometimes been difficult during her lowest energy treatment periods. "Will you come to my school play next week?" Charlotte asked as Kate kissed her goodnight. "I wouldn't miss it for anything," Kate replied, meaning every word. The prospect of attending normal family events without medical scheduling considerations felt like a luxury she would never again take for granted. Later that evening, Kate and William sat together in their private sitting room, finally alone to process the magnitude of completing active treatment. The months of medical appointments, careful scheduling, and constant attention to Kate's health had created a routine that felt strange to abandon. "I keep expecting to need to plan around treatment days," Kate said. "It will take time to believe we can make normal schedules again." William understood her feeling of adjustment to a new normal. The hypervigilance about Kate's health that had characterized recent months wouldn't disappear immediately, but they could begin relaxing their careful monitoring and protection of her energy. They discussed plans for gradually resuming Kate's public duties and charity work. Dr. Thompson had advised a slow return to full activity levels, but Kate felt eager to reconnect with the causes and organizations that had been such meaningful parts of her life before illness. "I want to visit some of the cancer support charities," Kate said. "Not necessarily in an official capacity initially, but to better understand how to help other families going through what we've experienced." William admired her instinct to transform personal challenges into opportunities to serve others. Throughout her treatment, Kate had received letters and messages from families facing similar situations, and she felt a responsibility to use her experience constructively. The night brought the deepest, most restful sleep Kate had experienced in months. Without the anticipation of upcoming treatment sessions, her mind could finally relax completely. William slept equally peacefully, his constant worry about Kate's well-being temporarily set aside. Morning arrived with the unusual luxury of no medical appointments to attend. Kate woke feeling energetic and optimistic, eager to begin this new phase of recovery and gradual return to normal life. The children's excitement about Mummy's completed treatment continued, with Lewis announcing at breakfast that they should have a celebration party every day. Dr. Thompson called mid-morning to check on Kate's condition and remind her about the follow-up appointment scheduled for the following week. These monitoring visits would continue for months, but they represented surveillance rather than active treatment, a fundamental difference in purpose and emotional impact. "How do you feel about yesterday?" Dr. Thompson asked. "Grateful," Kate replied immediately. "Grateful for excellent medical care, for family support, and for my body's ability to heal." The afternoon brought a quiet family walk through Hyde Park, Kate's first extended outdoor activity since completing treatment. The spring air felt refreshing, and the simple pleasure of walking without careful attention to energy conservation marked another small victory in her recovery process. As evening approached, Kate looked forward to the routine of dinner, homework help, and bedtime stories without the underlying awareness of treatment schedules that had shaped recent months. These ordinary family activities had sustained her throughout the difficult period and now represented the normal life she was reclaiming. The door that had opened to reveal her treatment room so many times over recent months had now closed for the final time. Behind her lay months of courage, medical excellence, and family strength. Ahead lay monitoring appointments, gradual energy recovery, and the return to a life enriched by appreciation for health, family, and the simple gifts of ordinary days. That night, as Kate tucked the children into bed, Charlotte asked when Mummy would be completely back to normal. "I think I already am," Kate replied, realizing the truth of her words. The treatment was complete, her body was healing, and her family had emerged stronger from their greatest challenge. The door to their future had opened to reveal not just recovery, but a deeper understanding of what truly mattered in their lives together.